Seeing Pat Parelli interact with his horses is fascinating and even mesmerizing, but hearing him explain the reasons behind his pathology is simply icing on the cake. There is no doubt Mr. Parelli has a special gift for interacting with horses, yet his ability to communicate it to humans is truly another gift in itself. Through the years, he has gathered knowledge as well as wisdom, which he passionately passes on to others in the hopes of creating a better world for horses through harmony between humans and horses. Observation, levels, games, and quotes are among his teachings at what he calls the Harvard of Horsemanship, where Mr. Parelli teaches his methods and then teaches how to teach his methods. Perfiles del Paso Fino attended the 2024 Horse Psychology Summit and then was privileged to visit the Parelli Campus and have an enlightening conversation with a true horseman, Mr. Pat Parelli. Mr. Parelli, welcome to Perfiles del Paso Fino. Thank you for your time. I'm truly honored to have you as our first episode on our brand new podcast.
Super. I'm honored also.
Thank you. So we have the YouTube channel and the website, but I'm starting a podcast separately, and we do everything in English and in Spanish.
Okay.
Just so you know. So
yo hablo Spanglish perfecto.
Perfecto.
Porque yo tengo trabajadores a mi ranchos y California y Colorado y aquí Florida, y yo visitar España y México y Costa Rica mucho tiempo, so es necesito, pero es Spanglish perfecto por los caballos y vacas, por las fincas y campos.
Wow, y muy rápido.
Sí.
You're very fast.
Well, I can talk I can talk about horses and cows and barns and stuff like this. So and food.
Oh, food is a good thing.
But
so you've never been to Colombia or Puerto Rico?
I have never been to Colombia or Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Would always wanted to go, and you know, I love people, anybody, any place where they are passionate about horses.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so transparency for me is number one. And I have to be completely honest that when I came to this weekend's Horse Psychology Summit, I had very little background knowledge about you. I had heard your name mentioned by two of the people that I have interviewed in the Paso Fino horse industry, and I was just fascinated. I am a psychologist, and I've been a teacher. And so many things that you were saying.
Click into place.
So much. We talked about the conditioning, and then you mentioned Montessori, and all these different things that I've just always loved, by which I had homeschooled my daughter as well. And so now that it makes so much sense applied to horses. To any animal, really, right?
Yeah.
So please, for those who don't know you, can you please share a little bit of your background?
Sure. Okay, I'm Pat Parelli. I'm 70 years old, and I was born on St. Patrick's Day, how I got my name, Pat. And I'm half Italian, half cowboy. And I was very fortunate. My father was a boxer, and his manager was a cowboy. And I was the son he never had. So at 3 years old on, I started to be around horses. And then when I was 16 years old, I went to a rodeo school, and I became a bronc rider, a professional bronc rider, and I had a rodeo career 14 years. I was the Rookie of the Year in 1972, and I learned how not only to train horses, but I learned about training animals. You know, the people at the rodeos had chimpanzees, or they had a pig that they trained, or a cow, or a buffalo, or a mule, or a donkey, or a chicken, or all these different animals. And I started getting interested in animal training. How do you train, you know, a pig to sit down and come here and do all these funny things, you know? So, and then I did an apprenticeship with Mr. Troy Henry in the mid 70s. And I learned real horsemanship. And I found out that the difference between real horsemanship and mechanical horsemanship, and what I found out was that most people use mechanics, fear, and intimidation, bigger bits, keeping the horse all tense, every breed, no matter what it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody can reach peak performance, or no animal can reach peak performance without confidence and relaxation. Because relaxation comes from confidence. Relaxation and energy create power. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that we want a horse really to get it. It has to come out of excitement, not from fear.
Right.
In order for it to really sustain it, for it to be their idea. And so one of my favorite sayings is, horses run faster and jump higher out of heart and desire. But they will do anything. So my was with Mr. Henry for 5 years. He passed away in 1981, December. And in March of that, I was invited to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, put on a seminar by one of my clients who was a veterinarian. And that was my first seminar 42 years ago. And that's why you came to my 42nd anniversary event. And I walked out in front of 30 people and I said, what I learned from Mr. Henry was that horsemanship can be obtained naturally through communication, understanding, and psychology versus mechanics, fear, and intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
So for the last 50 years, I've been trying to figure out how to apply communication, understanding, and psychology to different ages, different stages, different breeds, different disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have horses here that go to the racetrack. We have horses here that go to jumping. We have horses here that go to recreational riders. We have horses here that go to roping and cutting and all the different things you can do with horses and different breeds. And at one time, we owned 17 different breeds, including miniature horses all the way to draft horses.
Wow.
So we owned 3 different breeds of draft horses at one time. We did everything here with horse-drawn equipment. And so I've been a shareaholic all my life, a learnaholic, excuse me, and then I've been sharing. I'm a shareaholic, so I share everything that I really master, then I start to share it.
Perfect. So when you met Mr. Henry and started working with him, was that when it clicked that you wanted to do something different with horses?
Well, I realized the difference between real horsemanship and mechanical horsemanship, or artificial horsemanship. So many people want things to look great, but like a wedding cake, it looks beautiful, but tastes terrible.
It's true.
I never had a good wedding cake yet in my life because it's all sugar and it's all stiff to be okay, but okay.
And it tastes like paper.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, real horsemanship is a horse and a human traveling and wantingly and willingly together. It's a journey for the horse and a journey for the human.
Yes.
Okay, so it's really about equus, which that's how we say horse in Latin, but that also means equal us.
Right.
And so that's it. If I can pour an ounce of human into the horse, but a gallon of horse into the human, then we got a chance to have a really great thing.
Right. Because there's the mutual learning.
Yeah.
And there's the mutual
respect,
therapy,
communication.
Yes.
Everything. It's all it's equal. It's not just, I'm not just training horses. I'm not just training people. I'm doing both. I'm understanding I had to master training horses before I could master training people.
Right.
Okay. And now together, this has been my last 42 years of my life, is to dedicate myself to regular people getting extraordinary results, to bring out the inner horseman inside of the humans, no matter where they live.
And I recalled you saying that you were a learnaholic and a shareaholic. What you were saying yesterday about teaching, or Sunday, about teaching, giving a fish, teaching how to fish, but teaching them how to teach others how to fish.
So my little saying is, we've all heard, if you feed a fish, give someone a fish, you feed them for today. You teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime.
Right.
But if you teach people how to teach people to fish, you change the world.
Exactly.
And so that's why we call this school, this campus here, the Harvard of Horsemanship.
Yes. And it's a beautiful place. I love how simple it is and how natural it is, because I think it's not about fancy, it's about functional, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And I love how there's different areas for the different disciplines, so that if a horse comes here, it's not a cookie cutter, which is where the Montessori comment came in.
Exactly.
Where each horse is an individual.
Yeah.
Talk to me about horsenalities, please.
Well, every horse has his own horsenality based on 4 things: innate characteristics, whether that comes from the breed or it comes from the family line. Then the environmental influence. Is it raised in a stall? Is it raised in a small pasture? Is it raised on a big finca? A big ranch? To the environment with other horses, not horses, to the environment's big. Third thing is learned behavior. Fourth thing is spirit. So there's extroverts and introverts. There's right brain and left brain. Right brain horses are more instinctual. Left brain horses are more, what am I going to do about that?
Analytical.
Yeah, they're the horses that are always kind of playing tricks on, opening gates and
curious.
Always messing around. Those are left brain horses. The right brain horse is always, scaredy cat. Okay, so you have to go. Is it an introvert? Is it an extrovert? A right brain introvert, for example, kind of runs inside of itself, and then they explode, and everybody thinks, "Oh, everything's fine." Okay, your left brain extrovert is a fun thinker. And he's thinking about all kinds of fun things he can do. And he likes to move his feet, okay? The right brain extrovert maybe moves his feet because he's scared. And then he just moves more, whether it's gallop or it's a passo or whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? Then the left brain introvert, they're the ones that are thinking like, okay, I don't really want to move my feet, so why should I do it? You tell me why.
Make me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then once you understand how each one interacts with the world, then you know how to motivate the left brain introvert. The left brain introvert, I would say, okay, we're going to go down to the other end of the arena or maybe the property, and we're going to go there as fast as we can. And he's going to go, why? And then I'll show you when I get there. And when we get there, what happens is, oh, there's a bucket of grain there. He goes, oh, you mean there's something good at the other end of the rainbow? That's why we're chasing rainbows. Okay. The right brain extrovert, we might want to say, let's just go in a circle for a while until you relax. And when you relax, now we're going to go straight. And he's like, oh, I get a reward when I relax. Left brain extrovert, you better play with them. Right brain introvert, you got to go slow. But when, like magic, my mare was a right brain introvert, and I went slow, and then finally at the end it was the greatest horse on the planet.
Right. So it's a matter of taking the time to learn about each horse rather than just getting on and going.
Yeah, and actually there's a science to it. You can literally identify by their usual behavior very quickly once you get used to it. And like my professional students, they end up being able to go, okay, right brain extrovert, I know what to do. I know where to start.
Right.
But the goal is to get them all to go to the center, to kind of have a hoof in each one of those,
those boxes.
Yeah, like, I'm a little of everything. Okay, not just way over here, just this. If you had a student in Montessori and they were really shy, you might want to teach them to do poetry and do theater to get them out of their shyness. You might want to get the person that always talks too much to maybe learn to enjoy reading or doing things by a solitaire, so that they have to use more of the brain than just the physical. So it's getting that well-rounded foundation
in a different method and at a different pace.
Yeah. So foundation before specialization is one of our sayings. And so we say put the relationship first. That means you have to know how to relate to each one of those horsenalities. And then depending on their age and depending on their stage, are they that now a right brain extrovert that's turned into a problem, a challenging horse because nobody understood him. Now how do you back up and go again?
Right.
So everything, it's one of my teachers, one of my mentors, Tom Dorrance, his answer to almost every question was, it all depends.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then we have the humanality concept, right?
Well, each one of us have our own personality based on 4 things. And of course, there's been a lot of different things out there. The Myers-Briggs, 4 quadrants and, all things. We use one of an old Chinese, which is fire, water, air, earth. Okay. And it's basically the same thing. Right brain extroverts, right brain introverts, left brain introverts, left brain extroverts.
Mhm.
And so each humanality or personality tends to have their motor. So like a left brain extrovert would be more of a get her done kind of person, and a right brain introvert might say, well, I just hope it's going to be safe for the horses and the kids.
Right.
Okay, so each personality, we may have to teach the extrovert, or left brain extrovert, to maybe slow down and be more gentle and more caring. We might have to teach the right brain introvert person with their horse that they need to draw boundaries and say, no, we're not just going to walk around the barn. We're actually going to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to cross this water over here. We're going to, and it's not making them do things, not just letting them do things, but be in that middle of the road. So the secret is balance.
Right. And now that you mentioned balance, how would you say that natural horsemanship can actually be implemented successfully for competition horses? Because you know that the trainers will tend to feel threatened, and they'll feel that this isn't the right thing for our breed, for example.
Mhm.
And we did discuss that at the summit as well. I have an interview that I was just bringing back up to the spotlight today with Pablo Saldarriaga. He's a person who enforces the natural horsemanship, and I also got a chance to see him in the competition ring in Colombia last year for the Nationals.
Super.
So how can you invite our trainers to welcome the concept of going into all of this before they start?
I think it's simple. First of all, there's only two kinds of people in the world: horse lovers and the other kind. But there are 7 kinds of horse lovers, and they all start within. There's natural horse lovers that only want everything natural. They're just, some people are just so good with horses naturally, and they don't even know anything.
Mhm.
I had a friend that picked up a guitar. 2 weeks later, he was in a band.
Mhm.
He was just he never took a lesson. Then there's normal. Then there's nuts, nuisances, nerds, nervous, and the lowest form is the negative knocker.
Oh, yeah.
The one that knocks good ideas out of everything. Okay.
A problem with every solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. A problem with every solution. So I think the simple thing is to see if let's honor the trainers and call them professors.
Mhm.
Every professor would love to teach somebody who has good manners. They don't want to, like a kindergarten teacher, she's got to worry about whether they got to go to the bathroom. They got to worry about whether they play well with others. They got to worry whether they behave. We are the elementary school teachers.
Yes.
Okay. And it takes a special type of person and to want to work with children. It takes a different kind of person to want to be a professor for college students. So to me, with the trainers, we could honor them and say, you're a professor. Mm-hmm. You're doing the icing. Let me make the cake. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what we teach people all over the world is how to create a foundation so that the specialization, then take the horse. Like, let's say, for example, Larry Whitesail is somebody that I've known for years. Okay. And then the mentors, the mentors, they're up in the Carolinas. Okay. And I knew them out in California. They even gave me a Paso Fino that I had for several years.
Oh, mentors. Yes. Yeah. Charles Mentor.
Yeah, Charles. Yeah,
Milda. Yes, I know them.
Yeah, so I know them too. Good. So we've all been friends, and we've had a lot of. They used to host my clinics out in Agua Dulce, California. And anyway, so the idea was, like, let's just say I had a Paso Fino, the one they gave me, and I got it to do a really nice behaviors, everything. But they know how to do the competition. Mm-hmm. Then they could take a confident, willing, calm, confident horse, a Paso Fino, and then say, now we're going to ask you to do our different, with the brie and all the different things, the gaits and all the energy. Because positive excitement energy and negative excitement energy, both ways, they're excited. But if a horse is scared, he's going to go like this. But if a horse is excited, he's going to go like this.
He's going to be performing, and the other one's going to be exploding.
Exactly.
I've had both.
And only being held because of the freno.
Right.
Okay. So the bit,
which is also hurting.
yes, and so that's mechanics, fear, and intimidation. So just taking that. So I think the easiest thing is just to get the world to see we are the elementary school program. That's what
Foundation.
that's what the Montessori thing is. It's not a college. Okay, but it's produced more successful scientists and mathematicians and all kinds of politicians and all kinds of people who've gone because they got a great foundation before they found their specialization into whatever their endeavor was going to be for the rest of their life. So yes, so it's, to me, it's more appreciating. Let's just say that we had to build a house, and we are the people doing the cabinets. So we have to appreciate the hard work that the people who poured the cement and built the foundation did. Thank you for doing all that hard work. Now we'll put the cabinets in.
And they'll be even and leveled.
Yeah, everything is ready, you know. And so to me, the college professors shouldn't be worrying about whether a student is going to misbehave or is scared or not smart or does not a good learner. You know, learning to be a good learner. You look like a good learner.
Yeah,
see,
I love learning.
I love learning too, but when I was in school, I hated school.
Me too.
You know, but then when I got kind of, you know, like,
yeah, because everybody was the same. It was the cookie cutter, and I needed a faster pace, and I wanted to be interested by what I was learning.
Yeah. You know, when I went to college, which I always tell, it's a little joke. I say I went to Fresno State University. It was the toughest 2 weeks of my life. But I really went for 5 years. But but I got criticized because I didn't follow. I was supposed to take this many science classes, this many philosophy classes. I took all the classes I wanted to take. And they were saying, "Oh, you'll never get anywhere for that." Well, I got written up in one of the journals that they have for the school, for the alumni, that, "Oh, we're so proud of Pat Parelli. He's one of our you know, graduate, you know, people that went to university, alumni, look at what he's doing." And I'm like, I didn't do all the things you told me to do. I just did what I was interested in. Then I was a great learner. But in chemistry and some of those things, I was like, I barely could make it. So I wasn't interested.
Right.
Okay. Now, had they made it interesting to me, had they done some things that would have been, you know, a way to present it to me. And so the same thing with every horse, that you have to treat a right brain introvert different than you do than a left brain extrovert. Just knowing some of that kind of stuff. And so I think the thing that most people can recognize easily are the successes that trainers have, but nobody knows about the attrition rate. The horses, you know, if it took 40 horses to get the 2 great ones, what happened to the other 38? They're over there.
Right.
We don't talk about them.
Right.
Okay. Like Montessori, I want 100% success rate. And we're going to do whatever it takes to do that. Now, we're not advertising ourselves as horse trainers. We have a school. This is the Harvard of Horsemanship. I've got graduates and professional students from all over the world, and they're here to learn how to apply this philosophy and these principles to every situation.
And teach other humans how to do the same. Yeah,
they're instructors as well as horse developers. So they teach people how. My job is to teach people how to fish.
Right. And it's amazing because it all aligns. One of the biggest missions that I've been on since I created, at first was a website, then created a YouTube channel, and then it's just all evolved, is because I believe that very thing. If you motivate, if you make it interesting, if you make it fair, and I know that we have a lot of success and a lot of trainers and horses, and they get a lot of credit for something, but how many are being bred and how many are being abandoned?
What's the attrition rate?
And all of that when you have the 1 or 2 champions in the ring. Exactly. And the same thing with the training. How many horses are you ruining to then get to this one where it happened to have worked?
Because it fit the cookie cutter.
Right. But then nobody's taking the time to figure out, who am I?
You said transparency. I want to be real transparent. I used to be cookie cutter.
I'm sure.
I've ruined more horses than most people have ever ridden.
I'm sure.
I'm ashamed of it because I didn't know that we had to adjust, that the human.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was with a real horseman for 5 years, every day, day in, day out,
Mm-hmm.
from 6 in the morning till 11 at night for 5 years. And I realized, oh my gosh, what it takes to become a great horseman.
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes. And he taught me. Mr. Henry was something special.
And that's what I was getting at when I asked you, when did it click that it was something different? Because like what you said, it's mechanics or intimidation. And our horse, is it misinterpreted for being forced? And some of them are. Some of them are forced, but most of them are very natural. And I've been to all these different countries and I've seen day one old babies in gait behind their mother. And it's a beautiful thing. But then you have an adult horse that just doesn't gait.
Can we, well, okay, but let's do this. How many little girls wanted to learn to dance and then their moms said, okay, now you must dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so they after a while, they don't want to go to dance anymore. How many little boys, wanted to play soccer and then their parents got overdone and then now they don't even want to see a soccer ball. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For the love of winning is the root of all evil when it comes to animals and children.
Wow.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Because then we transpose our ambition, which ambition is a great thing as long as it's tempered by principles, patience, and sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just left alone, the love of winning, not just winning, not just being competitive, not just competing, that's not bad. It's if that's what you're focused on and everything else that is secondary or tertiary, well then that's where that becomes the root of all evil when it comes to animals and children. And it's not just horses, it's dogs, it's people showing cows and sheep and pigs, and it's amazing what people do. And the poor animals have no choice. Mm-hmm. But if you ask a horse or prepare a horse to do what he's naturally gifted at, whether it's gaiting, whether it's jumping, whether it's racing, whether it's endurance, whether it's being a, like I always tease everybody from Colombia about Juan Valdez, his mule in the mountains there. Mm-hmm. That's what it's made for. The best mountain mule in the world. Right. Yes. That's great. We've success. The mule's a success. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is, to me, knowing more about, rather than, okay, this is the sore subject, tradition. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. The most often asked question in the world by every human being is why? Okay. What's the number one answer every parent gives their children? Just because. Just because. And tradition is the defender of just because. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. When I first got involved with Paso Finos, someone told me, you'll never have a chance because you are not of Latin. You're not Latin. So only people with this that have this genetic propensity really can get the best out of a Paso Fino. I was told that.
I can't believe it.
I was thought like, well, that doesn't make sense. That sounds like BS to me. And so the horse industry is arcane, still very arcane and primitive and shameful in many ways because it's ruled by wives' tales, mythology, and bovine fecal matter, and defended by ego.
Yes.
Okay.
Huge problem right there.
No, it's a huge reality, and it's because people believe their own BS, or they want to show everyone that they are right. But every horse will tell you whether it's right for him or her.
That's right. Now, I absolutely love quotes, and you're like a walking, talking quote. I love all these things that you say, and so I have a few of them written down here, these main concepts that changed my life over the weekend, I'll tell you that. Okay. Retreat, and then approach versus approach, and then retreat, right? Mm-hmm. I went home yesterday, and I got my mare on the trailer when she hadn't wanted to get on the trailer since maybe 3-4 months ago she started. I don't know why. I have a couple of theories, but she wouldn't get on. I yo-yoed, retreated, and then approached, and she got on the trailer, Pat. And then she put one hand in. I'm like, no, I don't need 2 hands. It's okay. And I let her go back, and then 2 hands. And then we let her go back. Yeah. And I was like almost tearing up because It's so simple, and we make it so hard.
So this is so simple. Even adults can do this.
That's perfect because
children,
we overthink everything.
Yeah, children are natural. This stuff is easy for children.
Absolutely. My daughter will go out into the paddock. I leave my horses out. I was very comforted when you said nobody lives in these stalls. I don't remember the last time my horses were in the stalls. And they're show horses, but they each have a paddock and they communicate, you know, and sometimes I go out there for that particular mare. She's a sass, and my daughter's the one. She's like, "Oh, I'll go," and she'll go, and the mare comes. But they have that connection. So these children, they have that way.
Well, you saw my dogs there just a minute ago. Here, Polka boy, Psalms. They're still just hovering around. Polka boy, come on, where's my dog? Where's my dog? See the connection. So so the connection is a personal thing. You know, it's my dog. It's not your dog.
Right.
You know? It's my dog. He says, "Where's Daddy? What's Daddy doing?"
Yep, and he's been all around checking everything out.
Yeah, but still staying connected. So this is where what a foal does with her mom. The foal runs around, you know, starts adventuring and goes, "Where's Mom?" And then comes back to Mom. That's called bonding. Most people do not have any bonding with their horses. Because you take off the halter and the lead rope, there's only one thing left: the truth.
The truth.
And the horse will tell you the truth. Yeah. Like it or not.
Yeah. And I have a little side note. I'm very proud to say that all 4 of my horses put their own face in the halters.
Yeah, good. Little things like that.
It's such a beautiful thing. I've always thought that was awesome, but then, you know, then we start realizing that there's horses out there that don't. No,
most.
I didn't know that.
Most people are struggling to get the bit on. Well, you saw the horse this weekend, the bridle and the halter.
Yes. Yes, that was difficult. There's another, do with and for the horse and not to the horse.
So let's say that you... Okay, instead of punishing a horse, you show a horse where the boundary is. Okay, the fence is a boundary. It doesn't get mad at the horse. The horse runs into it. The horse learns, oh, I better watch out for that. So what I try to do is create energy, manage my energy through time and space. So the horse goes, oh, that's a boundary, not a punishment. Okay, and so whatever you do, you go, okay, my horse is going to be a show horse someday. So I better learn he better be able to go out across the river, out in the mountains. He'd better go out on trail rides. He'd better be able to do these exercises in the arena, and then we'll do this one thing on the platform, say. Okay, all right. That's what we want him to do, but we're going to do these other 10 things so that he can do that even better. Right. So, like for example, for me, I play golf. I play guitar. I do aviation. I teach, so I do all not just to be great with horses, all that other stuff makes me more balanced. Yeah. Okay. I can do what I do because I've got lots of other experiences in my foundation. My parents were really great. I'm the only horse person in my family. My sister was a dancer. My mom was a bowler. My dad was a golfer. You know, weekends, we all went 4 different ways, but they allowed us to learn and to get a good foundation and to, it didn't say, you know, no, you've got to be a boxer. Like my dad wanted me to be, of course, you know. Right. But it was like, no, it's okay. As long as you're good at something. Right. So you got to find what that something is for every child or every horse. Which brings me to the next one: make and let versus cause and allow. Well, that was one of my first verbal lessons from my mentor, Mr. Henry. He got after me one day and said, "Don't you ever tell somebody to make their horse do it again." And I'm, okay, what should I say? He goes, cause, and don't let them do anything either. I said, well, what else would I use? Don't say let, he says, allow, cause and allow. So you set it up, you set things up so that the horse finds the answer himself. Yes. Don't make him do something. So like, for example, like you did with your trailer, you said, just go up and put your nose on it. Go up and put 1 foot in. That's all. And then pretty soon you allow them to go the rest of the way in. Right. And words have so much power. Oh my gosh. So even though the horses don't understand the words, the mentality that we have behind they understand the feeling. Important. They understand the feeling. The energy. Well, just like anything, if you do something to somebody versus something for somebody, you know, like for example, my father, when I was in college and a young person, he never supported me. He never gave me money to go to college. He never gave me money for a car and he said he had a friend who was as wealthy as my father. My dad was very successful. He had another friend, and he bought his children fancy cars, all this. Both of his boys, one ended up being a drug dealer, the other one ended up being a pimp for prostitutes.
Mhm.
Both of them are in jail.
Hmm.
And their father was wealthy, gave them everything. My dad said, no, I earned my way, you earn your way. He didn't do that to me, he did that for me.
Right. Taught you the value of things. Rather
Yeah,
than
to earn it
cost.
myself.
Mhm.
So that's what kind of my dad didn't punish me by not, giving me money to go to college. So if you want an education, you got to earn it. You got to want it. You got to earn it.
Mhm.
So, just saying like, for example, teaching a horse, every horse here, we have these trailers back over here, rickety old trailers and some great big warm bloods and stuff. Every horse here, we have a checkoff list. We do that for them and with them to take the time to teach them to go into those tough situations. Every horse here has to cross the river. Every horse here has to learn to swim. Every horse here has to learn to gather the cows. Every horse here has to learn to do the dressage riding. Every horse here has to jump. Every horse, it's like, what's our checklist? It's just like a child goes to school, reading, writing, arithmetic, and they got to take physical education. Come on, Pope. Come on, you guys can come up. Come on, dogs. Two dogs went up.
They feel left out.
Yeah, they're saying, come on, let me up there. There we go. You can make it. There's Psalms 4. There we go. He's getting old. That's all. There's Pokeball. You can come on this side. So, child goes to school, takes music classes, takes physical education, takes science classes, takes reading, writing,
Mhm.
and art, and like
Well-rounded.
Yeah, you're gonna do all these things for the child, not to the child. You've got to take an art class, you
Right.
dumb kid.
Yeah.
No, you'd say,
Force.
look, they're not going to come up with it all on their own. So we, as parents and as leaders and teachers, we guide. We know how to make someone successful. So, like here, for example, the students that are here, my resident students, they're here to learn 4 things. Number 1, how to use psychology to train horses.
Mhm.
Number 2, how to teach people to be empowered, okay, in the levels program that we have. So we have to learn how to teach. So many instructors are mean to their students, yelling at them and make them cry. And we teach people to learn how to be empowered. The third thing every resident student here has to learn is facility design, maintenance, and management. They are the ones that do the arenas. They're the ones that fix the fences. They're the ones that fix the plumbing. They're the ones that do it. Because when you own your own place, you have to know all that stuff, or know who to get, and did they do it right?
Right. Did they do it right mostly?
Okay, because if you don't know anything, then somebody can do a bad job and you don't know it. And the 4th thing we teach them is business. Most horse trainers are not good business people. The way to be successful in the horse business is marry somebody's got a lot of money. That's the easiest way to be successful in the horse business. Okay, but those of us that have gonna earn it ourselves, we got to learn about business. And for example, I'm one of the first graduates of the Michael Gerber Business Development Program. Okay, and I went to college, but I didn't learn field business. This guy was a multimillionaire, and he taught us how to build businesses. So now I teach all my students how to build businesses.
Right. And that's a wonderful thing, because a lot of people don't even know basic budgeting of a household.
Yeah.
And finances are a mess. And when you have a farm, you get to that point where, oh my God, there's no hay and there's no money to get hay. And I didn't know I was going to go through that bale so quickly, and things like that nobody teaches you. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what, again, all the resident students that come here, they learn to be real professionals when they leave here. Not just good riders. Yes, they're good riders, but they're good trainers. And yes, they're good teachers. And yes, they can get on the tractor and they can do things. They can fix things, and they can see when something's not right. And yes, they know how to do business.
Run the business. Right. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. And you said something about being a good driver doesn't make you a good mechanic. Does that go back to what we were talking about, the trainers being professors of the college level, and then
not necessarily good kindergarten teachers?
Right.
Yeah, and I can drive anything, wreck everything, and fix nothing, but I'm a good driver. Okay, you saw my bus I drive, and trailers
with a trailer attached.
Yeah, and all that stuff. But that doesn't make me a mechanic.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how other breeds run their associations, but should there be a requirement for a horse association to have some sort of training program, some sort of official certification, or?
Well, okay. The answer is hypothetically yes. All right. But there are countries that have that. In Europe,
Countries, yes.
yeah, in Europe,
Okay.
but here's the challenge: most all their programs are traditional military-based, chauvinistic-based, micromanaged-based programs.
Mm-hmm.
So there are standards out there, but I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I don't necessarily fit with all the. Again, that's cookie cutter. There are schools out there. This is how you train in order to be a trainer, this is what it takes. You have to pass these tests, and most of those tests, most of those tests are very military tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I agree with it, but at the same time, the horse is the equalizer. Okay, Tom Dorrance, one of my mentors, he could any horse, any day, any stage, any age. You know when to be, where to be, why to be, what to do when you get there, and when to quit doing it. Mm-hmm. And horses knew when he'd walk into a crowd, horses nobody else could catch wanted to go over to him like he was a new horse. Uh-huh. He had something special. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it would be, that's what I'm doing is teaching people to be real professionals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there should be.
Okay. We constantly go through the rule books and rule changes. I don't mind them. They're not. I just want to see my paper. That's all. Yeah. And when we see things, for example, this year there was a rule change about not having to use horseshoes for competition. Mm-hmm. And there's rules about using spurs or not using spurs. Mm-hmm. Something I noticed was most of the bits I saw are snaffles, curved snaffles, I think you call them. I'm not too familiar with that.
Snaffle, yeah.
And you do use spurs, but there's specific type of spurs. They're blunt.
Okay. Well, first of all,
where does that fit in?
No spur should be sharp. Mm-hmm. But if you go 7 things: attitude, knowledge, tools, techniques, time, and imagination, and support. Spurs are a tool that are very misunderstood. Mm-hmm. Bits are. Okay, so for like Spanish, how do you say brakes on a car?
Freno.
How do you say bit for the horse?
Freno.
So everybody thinks that they're brakes. They're not brakes.
Nothing's going to stop that horse.
If the horse is scared, he's going to run through the bit.
Right.
So it's not a freno. Mm-hmm. So really, the bit is very misunderstood. The bit should be there to shape a horse and impede unwanted forward movement. Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, for example, if you really want a horse to have a lot of steps in a short period of time, you have to say go, get your RPMs up, but stay in first gear. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm saying, and if I want the nose the body curved this way or perfectly straight. Okay, so that's what the bit is for, shaping and impeding unwanted forward movement. Tertiary to that would be for control. If things get out of control, you're gonna say, hey, I got to save my life. Mm-hmm. But most people are using it as a brake.
And as a steering wheel as well.
In the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if I want to turn, I'm going to shape my horse turn and then ride my horse to the turn. I'm not going to turn my horse.
Right.
So like you said, a steering wheel. So, but spurs are the same thing. Spurs are, again, we teach everybody here not to kick a horse to go, not to use rhythm. So I never would use rhythm with spurs. Mm-hmm. Spurs are for steady pressure and quick release. Mm-hmm. So it's more how you use it. And so one of the analogies I use is I said, if you had a toolbox and you've got a hammer, a screwdriver, and a pair of pliers, and you've got to put a nail in the wall to hang a picture, and you reach in and you grab a pair of pliers and bang the nail in. We've all probably done it because that's the only thing we could find. But if you go past the hammer, you don't understand what that tool is for, and you don't understand what this tool is for. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could use it for something else, but this is what it's for. So spurs have a specific use. It's not, they're not a cruel tool. In fact, if you think about it, back in when people used horses for sword fighting, the little sword is way gentler than the big sword. So if you were trying to kill my horse, I would take my little sword on the end of my foot and say, move away before the big one gets you. Bullfighting, the little horn is way better than the big horns on the bull. So they're made for going lateral, for moving, not for going faster. They're spurs. So, but if you want a horse to go faster and bring RPMs up, it's simple. You just take a little bit of energy, a racehorse. Okay. So it's a matter of, again, you can use your spurs with the horse and for the horse so he understands you more exactly.
Yes. And the reason I bring it up, I have spurs and I was taught to use them the way you're saying. But the reason I bring it up is because you know that fear will cause opposition or a person to be quick to criticize. And fear also is caused by the unknown, by the ignorance of what something.
Ignorance is the number one cause of fear and misunderstanding. So again, so what do? You educate people.
Right, which is what I'm doing, because I know the moment I come up and then they say, but those people use spurs. And well, yes, but how and what kind?
Yes, it's like somebody that finger paints versus somebody that uses a paintbrush. We use our spurs in a very artistic way.
And also the carrot sticks.
Yeah.
You're not whipping.
No.
Anything.
We're hurting. We're hurting them, not hurting.
Exactly.
H-E-A-R-H-E-R-D, not H-U-R-T.
Right. Okay. We talked about nature versus nurture. And step one being identifying the horsenality and then also the humanality. I think that when people open up, would they have an opportunity to come out here? Just anyone. Talk to me a little bit about the programs that you offer other than that one annual summit.
Okay. What you doing over there, Saul?
Bothered by the tripod.
You find a bone under there? You find a bone under there? Okay, so first of all, our Parelli Natural Horsemanship, I'm the founder, and it's the world's largest train your horse at home web-based program. So we have over 200,000 students in 73 countries. Our program is web-based. The graduates of our web-based program study with my instructors, and then they come and study here with me.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay. Now, we also have classes here for people that we have a Get Started class, which I teach my instructors to teach.
Right.
Okay, so one starts this weekend, for example.
Yes.
There's a Get Started clinic for 3 days, and then there's a 5-day level 1 too. So it's a thing. But we offer courses here, and in Colorado is where my big campus is. This is my small campus.
Really? Wow.
Okay. Yeah, we have over 1,000 acres in Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've been there 29 years, and we have cabins, and we have places for people to stay, and we have a kitchen that can feed over 100 people a day, and it's much bigger and grander than this. This is our little winter headquarters, okay? But the point is yes, we have lots of different things. If anybody's interested in that sort of thing, go to my website. But the number one thing is, if you can learn at home, in the comfort of your own home, and learn how our program, like you just said, if you learn at home instead of driving all the way to where you did this weekend, that a retreat and approach works better than approach and retreat. You're like, oh, let me go try that. How many things? The other while back, I was watching this television show, and this lady was making a salad. She says the number one secret with a salad is you put salt on the salad while you're mixing it in the bowl. Wait 5 minutes, then put the dressing on. And you won't believe the taste difference. What? All right, I'll try it. Made the salad, mixed the things, put a little bit of salt, mixed it up some more, a little salt. Left it for 5 minutes, put the dressing on. The same dressing, the same lettuce I've been using. And it was like, a world chef made this salad. You're like, what the world? I learned that at home, just watching a video. Okay, so there's things we can learn.
We can apply.
We've got to learn the philosophy and the concept first. Then you got to apply it, and then sometimes you need coaching. And so we have a video coaching program, plus we have our live coaches. My instructors, I have over 150 instructors around the world. I have one in Costa Rica that goes to Colombia a lot. Alejandra Gonzalez, she goes to Ecuador, Colombia, all the Latin countries, Mexico, goes to Spain.
Okay.
So, like for example, people can take clinics and courses from her. She's one of my 4-star instructors. We have 6 stars available.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she speaks perfect Spanish. So anyway, so lots of different ways, and our mission is to help make the world a better place for horses and the humans that love them, no matter where they live or what they can afford. So if they go to our website, they'll find out a way they can learn this. But most of our students start at home, go through the levels program, levels 1 through 4, learn all the things on the ground and in the saddle, and then apply it to your breed or your specialty.
And not only horses, right? Because mules are equine as well.
Well, in the equine, we even had a Zorse,
right,
zebra, half horse. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. What do you perceive as having been your greatest accomplishment so far?
Number one is my son. I've got a handicapped son that they said at 3 months of age that if he lives through the night, he'll probably never walk or talk.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks and talks, rides and slides, spins and wins, turns and burns, drive everything on the ranch, including his dad crazy. And he has won 5 championship belt buckles against able-bodied people, and he won the first handicap reining program. That's him right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you ride behind me, Caton? Come ride behind. Just come behind here. There you go. I'd say that's my number one accomplishment right there. And then, you know, I think, and then helping millions of people understand their horses better. Here, just put your horse's head over the top of
there he is.
Right there. Put your horse's head over here. How you doing, Caton?
Good.
Good. I was just bragging on you. Good.
Yeah, this is my young gun.
Yeah. How old is he?
3 this year.
Yeah. Very good. He's got about 30 rides. Good job. Okay, bud.
And acts like his dad, thank God.
Yeah. Okay, bud. Go ahead and take him on out. Go have fun.
Should I stay on him this afternoon?
I'll get to you after I'm done videoing, okay?
What do you think is the word that represents your work the most?
Natural and real.
Who has been the most influential person of your career?
I would say Ronnie Willis. He was a student of Ray Hunt and Tom Dorrance, and he really caused me, put time into me, invested time into me, caused me to understand what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would say from a horse point of view, that's the most influential.
What is a memory from your childhood that you think has helped define who you are today?
Well, I think 2 things: just the visual and the smell of horse and touch, feel of horses.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a little kid, I was horse crazy. The parade was in our town, and they used our street, which wasn't the main street, for the horses to saddle up for the parade.
Oh, what a
And I remember that like it was yesterday. Oh my God, there was a horse in my front yard.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then I think the other is my parents. They really, just modeled a way to be a great human being, be good and find what God's gift gave you, and to excel.
If you had the opportunity to start all over again, would you do it all in the same way?
I think so. I call what I do pathological.
Mm-hmm.
There's a logic to what I do, and and I try to teach people what I would do, but why I would do what I would do. Yes. Do I wish I had more money to pave the roads and have nicer facilities and do all the things? Of course, but I didn't, and I probably wouldn't if I had to start all over again. Because I was born with a rusty spoon in my mouth, not a silver spoon.
Mm-hmm. So
again, biggest thing is just keep getting up to bat and swinging, keep trying,
mm-hmm.
and just and do things, be mission driven, which is what I think I've always been. Is my mission is to be the best me I can be, and then to help other people do that.
And what is the one thing that you would like everyone to remember about Pat Parelli?
That I was a horseman,
a true horseman,
real horseman.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been fascinating, and I know that we can probably talk for days and days on end.
We can do more.
When I was preparing the questions, something popped into my mind that I hadn't heard in years. And it was after that feeling that you get when I got the mare on the trailer the way she did yesterday, and it was so simple. Just took patience. And
Yeah, but that feeling you got is better than any ribbon or trophy you'll ever win.
absolutely. And
What?
I try to teach my daughter that all the time. It's not what you got, because it's subjective from another human being. Did you feel that you did your best, that you did everything you could?
When your horse gives you that feeling, oh my gosh, then you're like, that's
Absolutely.
priceless.
Absolutely. But so what popped into my mind was, do you remember G.I. Joe?
Mm-hmm.
And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I felt. So I think that that's what all of us have felt. And I see now why there are people who go every year to this psychology summit, because that feeling of gaining just a little bit more to pass on
There you go.
and do.
Sometimes it's a little difference that makes the difference.
That's right. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for your time
My
and for your
pleasure.
knowledge.
Yeah, my pleasure.